Guys, welcome back to the League Crawler podcast. I know this one's going out a little bit late. I apologize for that, but here we go. If you haven't seen last week's episode, go ahead and check that out. We had on the guys from Dream World. It's one of the most innovative things I've ever heard. They don't even have a full league. That's not even what it's about. It's just about them being as creative as possible. And I really, really encourage you guys to check out their content. It is top notch. I love what they were doing. I had a little bit of info come my way from Matt, and he told me that when we first started, we had like 20-something followers on YouTube, and that number has grown up to 82 subs. And the reason I bring that up is that is a great way to get involved in future promotions. If you want to be a part of some of these giveaways, one of the easy ways to get is to be a follower on the YouTube channel. So go over to YouTube, give it a follow, check it all out. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of the giveaway, there was a winner for June. Congratulations to @ItGoRain on YouTube or on Twitter. Congratulations to you. You won a $20 gift card to either PlayStation or Xbox. That is awesome. Awesome for you, sir. And shout out to our Patreon members for helping make that possible, especially our Premium Platinum members for Snowden and SPA. Huge shout out to you guys. I know that you're catching applauses from all over the community. Congratulations. With that out of the way, and it was a pretty quick news segment, let's get into an episode that probably should have happened a long time ago, and that is with Brennon Turner, a.k.a. Queen Bee, the writer for the League Crawler podcast. Brennon, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well, Mo.
Yo, as I was going through some of your background stuff, one of the things that I noticed was that you are going to Oklahoma State University. Are you doing that for a writing degree? Is that the end game?
I'm actually going for a degree in psychology. I'm going to become a doctor of psychology, so I have about like 6 years left because it's going to be a while. It actually has no relation to writing. I've just always enjoyed writing, and it's a talent I've always had. So I use it all the time.
Right. So piggybacking on that a little bit, at what point did you go, I enjoy the video game community, but I think I have a niche here? What was that journey like for you?
I didn't hear the last part of that question. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah. So you have a niche in the gaming community. You write a lot. You do stuff for League Crawl. You do stuff for Sports Gaming Online, which we'll get to. At what point in your gaming life did you go, I'd really like to get behind the keyboard and start writing about some stuff?
Yeah, well, so I've been in a lot of Madden leagues now about a year and a half, and I've had conversations about other games and stuff like that. And I've always enjoyed like keeping others updated and like explaining like how things work when it comes to gaming. Because on Discord, it's very opinionated, obviously, and everyone is like always fast to like shut down a video game or say it's trash or it's bad. And I just wanted to kind of like help like counter that because it happens a lot, far too often actually, that like you see a game and it's called trash and then like everyone's not going to play it now. So I've just liked that aspect of it, and it kind of just helped.
So that leads you into you started stuff, from my knowledge, with the Maddenverse. That's how you got connected with League Crawler. From there, you reached out to Matt asking if he needed somebody to do some stuff on the site, and from that conversation, it led you down an avenue of doing some stuff for for League Crawler, like the Players Hub, the New Year, New Faces. I mean, there's some really good stuff out here. When you talk to Matt about wanting to do stuff, I know that you also did the Apex things. You also did the ones with like the Madden tips. You are on such a wide range though of all these things that you want to do. Did you not want to be pigeonholed into just doing one kind of game, or like what was your pitch to Matt?
Yeah, that was the thing. So I spoke to Matt, right, and he said he was going to be completely hands off, and whatever I want to write, he trusts me and I write it. So that's kind of how that went. It was just that, like, if I see something and I think it deserves, like, a feature or, like, a story on it, I'll write it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt about that. And I've played a bunch of Apex since the day it dropped. I've played Madden for 5-6 years now. So, like, I'm very well versed in those games, so it's easy for me to write like anything on it. Like for Madden, like I knew all of that ahead of time. I didn't do anything. I didn't search on my computer how to score a one play in Madden. Like I already knew that stuff. So I'm just like relaying all the info I have out to others, and that's just how I view, like, at least on our site, that's how I view me as a writer, is I relay everything I know, and I think everyone deserves to know.
Now, when Matt was initially asking for writers or asking for people on podcasts, I don't know if you knew this before, but he's typically never accepted a whole lot of help. So to bring me on to do the show was a big leap for him. But I think also to let somebody go onto his site and put out content was also a big one for him, because I mean, it's his baby. Trust goes a long way, you know. But what made you go, I think League Crawler can be a place for me? Like, what was the thing about League Crawler that you felt fit you as a writer?
Well, I had heard about Matt from Lowe, and he said that he had a website for the past 6-7 years, and he was committed and stuff like that, and he was trying to find a writer, and I was just now becoming into the scene uh, of game writing. Like I had just started, and I was like, well, I think it's a good thing. It looks nice on like a resume or a portfolio and like experience, and that's like, I was like, well, he's not gonna have like the highest expectations of me because I just started, and I can, and as I begin to write more and more, like I'll learn with LC as I go, and that's just kind of how I saw it.
Mhm.
I saw it as like a great starting point for me.
Yeah, and it really was. You came in hot with some Apex stuff. You had the Madden tips right away, but then I think you kind of started branching out into finding different things. And as much as I liked the Apex news, Apex isn't a game that I played. The Madden tips, that was fun to kind of like put around my friends. But the next step you took was the Players Hub, Franchise Finder, and the New Year New Faces. Now, Franchise Finder, I won't lie to you, holds a very special place to my heart, because at one point the league that I ran was one of those leagues that nobody really knew about, and we needed help from just random people going like, why are not more people seeing this? So to see you do something like that is a huge plus for the gaming community, and I know you're serving an itch that has to get scratched for somewhere. Where are you finding these leagues though? Like, what is your game plan to go, this is the next league I want to write about?
So how I have done it is, so I'm an owner of 3 recruiting servers on Discord, all over 1,200 in the server. And so how I do it is I announce, hey, I'm trying to find a franchise. If you have one that's good, I'll check it out. And if it's good, like, I write about it. Now, that's like, I get a lot of DMs, and most of the leagues, I say this, aren't very good. Uh, so, like, especially now in Madden, it's in June. Madden leagues that are like starting now, or like are in like season 3 or 4 are kind of like stalling out and dying out because no one's really playing Madden in June that much. So uh, I just get, I ask them, I ask everybody in my uh, servers for help on that front, and I have a list of standards that I abide by when checking out a league, and most of the leagues that I've had in the past month haven't really met all of them, so I haven't written about any. So, but yeah, that's how I find them. Is I just ask the community. I go in, I check them out myself, and then I write about them.
So it's a whole group effort. Like it's you putting out word, and then everybody kind of coming together to help you find out who you want to write about.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that leads me into my next segue, which is why Matt lets me do this job. And that is for one of our first sponsors, and that is spacetradr.com. And the reason I asked you about that as being a group effort is because that's what spacetradr.com is. For anybody that doesn't know, SpaceTrader.com is a place for you as a business owner to kind of go over to there, put your information out there, let people know what you're doing, and see if there's ways that you can help others or others can help you, and to help grow your businesses together. It doesn't have a true definition of this is the one thing that we do, but it is a place for you to go to promote and to make sure that we're all kind of doing this together. Post pandemic, everybody's trying to build a business. Everyone's trying to do something to get out of the rut financially. This is a great avenue to go sign up. I encourage it greatly. SpaceTrader.com, no E. Go check it out. Having said that, I really also like the article that you did, which is the New Year, New Faces, and that went through and covered about 5 rookies, I believe, and I think you did running backs if my memory serves me.
Yes.
Do you have any more of those planned in the future?
Yes, I have a list of them. I did a speed one over, I think it's called Elite Magazine. It's made by Bradley. I did for speed on that one. Everybody in Madden loves speed, so I figured it'd be a great intro to it. And then started on halfbacks. I have receivers. I have height guys. I have all the. I have a list of guys who have high jumping or high strength, intangibles, and those kind of things. And over the course of June, heading in to August, as it releases, I'll be releasing a lot of those. And I have a lot of them completed and started, but I'm waiting as we get into the end of June to start releasing those more.
Well, my guess is you have to have Cardinal rookie wide receiver Rondale Moore as part of the speed or jumping one, because the guy is basically Superman, even though he's 5'7".
Oh, he's a freak. He's a freak. Yeah, he's a freak. There is a lot of guys like that. I don't believe he made my list for speed because I had guys like Anthony Schwartz, Eric Stokes, and then I had a few of the I think it was 3-4 ends who just had amazing speed. So I don't think he made that one, but he is really fast. That is 100% true.
Yeah, he is going to be, for any fantasy guys out there, remember this about the Cardinals. Christian Kirk is on the last year of his deal. To replace him is going to be very easy with the Cardinals lineup. Rondale Moore is kind of just sitting there. He might be a good little fantasy guy. I'm just saying. I think he can do really well. Moving on to the next piece from League Crawler is the Players Hub. And the Players Hub was an article that I came through, I read, and it really went through about who is one guy and what is this guy doing in the community. Was that just a piggyback off the Franchise Finder? Did you think, hey, this is something that we're really doing a Franchise Finder to find these leagues out there? How can we showcase just one guy? Or what was the premise behind all that?
That was because I had spoken to Matt and Airborne he bought ad space on the site, and I figured it'd be an amazing idea to if you're gonna see them on a banner on the site, I'll have an article saying who they are and all that kind of stuff. So that's how that happened. Is I just heard about it and decided to write the article for it.
Now, doing something with League Crawler, I don't know if this piggybacked into doing something with Sports Gaming Online, but I went over to Sports Gaming Online, and you have a couple things over there that I would really like to discuss.
Yes.
And that is, one, you're doing some articles on some all different kinds of gaming, from boxing, all these different things. When I ask, what is your gaming preference? What are the games that you play? Because I really can't gauge from that for myself, because you pretty much cover all the bases over here.
Yeah. The games that I enjoy the most in terms of playing and writing, 100% is going to be Madden. I know pretty much everything there is about Madden. Super easy to write about. But obviously I'm not going to have any articles in June on Madden. So over there, all of us as a whole, we are expected to have a base knowledge of every sports game out there, because that's who we are, Sports Gamers Online. So all of us have a knowledge of the games and are able to write anything on those games. whenever there's like a press release, a news leak, or like anything like that, and all of us have the skill for that. So, but uh, Apex and Madden are the games I know the most. Apex isn't a sports game, so you won't see that over there. But Madden, as August nears and everything coming out soon about the cover athlete of Madden, any reveals, all that kind of stuff, I will be trying my hardest to have those articles as mine, and I'll have them out because I really love Madden and I love writing about it. So
Let's kind of get into Madden a little bit.
yeah, of
What was
course.
your experience with Madden 21?
My experience with Madden 21 is it was a huge improvement over Madden 20 in terms of movement, in terms of like there's not anything that's like really OP. It's hard to have uh, a deep pass in this game unless it's a max protection because of throw out of sack picks, as everyone has had them happen to them. So like there's not really an OP thing about Madden as of now. But the biggest issue is the animations. Obviously, it's the engine, animation Frostbite engine. So I don't have any gripes about that because I understand how it works. Like I'm not going to be mad if I get an animation or anything like that because that's how the game was made and developed. But I have loved. I love the game. I hated Madden 20. I'll say that now because of how it was just. I don't know. A bunch of nano blitzes. You had guys who would have like 10 yards in the air and like 500 yards in the ground in Madden 20. It was just not an experience I enjoyed, but it improved a lot for 21, in my opinion.
I agree. It did catch a lot of hate at the beginning because I think a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, franchises are the same. They didn't put any work into this." And I guess I just highly disagreed because as somebody that does community like the and stuff, I remember Madden 20 us having like 40 sack seasons and stuff. Like I remember
Yes.
the defensive line just being completely OP and the offensive line really not doing anything and the sliders not mattering. Like we couldn't find a way to get that ship righted when it came to sacks. So when people are like they didn't do anything, I'm sitting there playing the game like, are you guys blind? Like this shit
Yeah.
on the field it felt like a more tuned version. Having said that, I also know why people were very frustrated with Madden 21 because everybody wants to see the thing that they like be worked on. And for our community, we're going to hear a lot about franchise mode. And for other communities, you're going to hear a lot about MUT and for so on and so forth. You know, getting into what Madden 22 is potentially offering, what are you hoping to see in the next installment?
Well, I'm hoping to see, and it most of it should happen in 22. I know they said some things for franchise at least won't happen until 23, but those are like things I can't even off the top of my head. I don't know what they are, but there's a lot of things for franchise in 22. I think it's actually, don't quote me on this, but I think it's only on next gen. All the changes that they're gonna make. Don't quote me on that because it's not confident in that. But yeah, so uh, all the changes that they're gonna make, like reversing a game, all those kind of things. Like I'm just excited for that because what I love the most about Madden is franchise. Like I enjoy MUT. I enjoy head-to-heads. I want a story mode, like a good one for the life of me, but I don't see it happening in 22. Um, so I'm just expecting and excited for all the changes were promised, and if those happen, then I don't see how anyone can be upset about the next Madden.
Yeah, no, I'm very encouraged with everything I've heard so far from Madden 22, and I got to leave it at that for personal reasons, like with the things that I've signed. So, but I'm really anxious for all of the Madden community to kind of get the information that I've already on, because there's some big stuff coming. It should be a lot of fun. Having said that, E3 just took place, and I know
Yes.
it's somebody that's into gaming. My thought was, did you see anything at E3 that really sparked your interest?
Yeah. So up to this point, I've watched every day and every platform of E3. And the games I'm excited for the most is the Avatar game, which looks absolutely beautiful. I don't know if any of y'all have seen it yet, but it might be the most amazing game I've ever seen with my eyes. It's beautiful. It didn't have. It was just. I don't know how it's going to be as like a story because that hasn't been revealed yet. But the game itself looks absolutely amazing, and I'm excited for it just because of that front. Like it's beautiful. And then another one I'm excited for is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a huge I'm a huge Marvel nerd, so yeah, that's going to be fun for me. Uh, it also is a very well made game in terms of visuals, and it also hits on it hits in this storyline on like uh, on the front of humor. It hits on every aspect of humor as I saw, and that's amazing because it's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's built on uh, their quips and all that kind of thing, and it was, as I saw, it was integrated well into the game. So that's exciting for me. And then a few other ones. I know there's a spinoff of the Final Fantasy series. It's not a continuation of the story, but it's still it's still the same. Like uh, it's still the same in terms of who's in the cast and all that kind of thing. But it's a spinoff of it. That looks really fun. I've never been a very big fan of the series just because that's not my cup of tea.
Mhm.
But it it's amazing in terms of visuals as well. The story seems to be amazing too. So yeah, E3 has had a few things that are great, obviously, uh, but I'm just sad that it's online this year because I really wanted to go. Um, but I guess there's always next year for that. Uh, and as I've heard in the community, is everyone is kind of like mad at them because there's not a lot of reveals as of this year, which kind of is a little sad as well because there's not a bunch of like, oh, that's unexpected. You know, it was just a bunch of updates and stuff like that, which when it comes to E3, that's not really why you watch it. So,
Yeah, no, E3 had a couple of things that stuck out. Now, before I get into the games that I think, Born, something that you said that stuck out to me was that you were a big fan of the Avatar game, and we'll talk about that in a second. You also talked about the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. As somebody that just recently went through and bought like all the recent Mass Effects, they completely remastered them all. I got to tell you, I'm in love with like the space exploration one stuff. So the game that stuck out to me at E3 that was really big was Starfield. Did you do any research into this game yet?
I saw them speak about it. I haven't really sat down yet. I know I've had some friends who were excited about it, like super excited about it, but I haven't done any research yet. No.
All right. That's awesome because I'm going to blow your socks off. All right, so have you ever played the game like Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls game, or Fallout's, those type of games?
Yes.
Okay, so Starfield is made by the same exact makers of both of those. This is a game that they've been working on now for 20 plus. They wanted to put something out years and years and years ago. And as technology just kept advancing, they kept looking at it going like, we think we can add that to Starfield. And then new things would come in. They'd be like, we think we can add that. And now they're finally at the point where they're like, everything that we could possibly add is now here. But it is supposed to be one of the most open world space exploration games that's ever been made, and I am stoked for it. I cannot wait for it to come out. I'm hoping I don't get cyberpunked and that whole process repeats where it's this huge thing where they've been working forever and they're like just release the thing
Yeah,
crap.
that was
But
terrible.
I'm super excited for this Starfield game to come out.
Yeah, no, I'll probably check it out.
Another one that you brought up was Avatar, and I also got to tell you that's another one that I'm really excited for. My take is when the Xbox One originally came out. Do you remember that game that came out? I think it was like Rome or it was something like that, or Rise or something. And you were
Rise, yeah.
and the graphics were just so incredible, but the story was just kind of like meh, and it was very linear in the way that you played the game, like you just followed.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my anticipation, I think Avatar will likely follow that same direction, but it does look like one of the most beautiful experiences I have ever seen for a game. Incredible.
Yes, I completely agree.
The other one that you mentioned was Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy. I think that one looks really cool, but my concern with that one was, did you play the latest Avengers game?
I did, yeah, and it was like it was nothing new and it was stale.
It was, and my fear is that they're not just building these games to just put things out. I am hopeful that this Guardian of the Galaxy is amazing. Like I really, really like the franchise that Marvel does, but I'd really like to see them step up their video game franchises.
Yes.
Having said that, there's some other ones that kind of came out, and I'd like some feedback on some of these. Did you check out Battlefield 2042 at all?
I did, yes. It looks like it's going to be a kind of like return to why everyone fell in love with Battlefield. And that is amazing, I think, because, Hardline was a big switch up and no one really liked it as a fan of the franchises. It was kind of, no one wanted that. So that was kind of weird. And then 5, 5 was like, okay, but with 2024, is that what it is? 2024?
2042.
2042. I had the numbers right, but not the right order. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a return of how the games used to feel and play out, which I have a buddy who's a huge Battlefield fan, and he is like super like excited and like he's ready for it. And I've never been a big fan of the series, but I think I'm gonna play 2042 just because of the hype around it and how like amazing it actually looks.
It does. Another game that I've never played. I think I played the first version of this game when it came out, the original one. But past that, I've never played another installment. But I might check one out going in the future. Is Far Cry 6. What are your thoughts on that game?
It was beautiful. A lot of the games, as you'll hear me say, look amazing because it's 2021. No game is going to look bad. But it looks amazing. I, as well, have not. I don't think I've ever played a Far Cry game. Not even for like a second. So I don't have any experience with the game itself, but it does look amazing, and I'm sure it will do well on that front. So
One of the first shooters that I ever remember really diving in, like, and I shouldn't say one of the first ones because I do remember getting like together with my friends, like at my own house and playing stuff like GoldenEye back in the day.
yes.
But the big one that kind of broke into online gaming was Halo. Now Halo's coming out with Halo Infinite.
Yes.
Are you into the Halo franchise? Does this look like something that you're going to load up into your Xbox?
It looks like it's going to be something that I play for 3 weeks straight and don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like for me. It looks amazing. I don't think anyone's not going to play it unless they really just don't like shooters, because it's an amazing game. It's obviously the Halo series. It's had some flops before, but like even the flops were fun to play. So like it'll be a great game, and I think every Halo fan out there is excited. They have their helmets on their desk and they're ready because it's gonna be a great game, I think, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the games that are coming out. The next, few years. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And the last one that I got for you is a jump back into Madden 22. But just today, Madden and EA has released that they had a Peyton Hillis kind of commercial. Two kind of goats came out, one older.
Yeah.
My guess is that's a representation that they're going to be doing a Mahomes and a Tom Brady cover
Yes.
reveal. Now, if we didn't already know it was going to be Mahomes and Brady, and I had to tell you, Brennan, I need the two greatest players on the cover, who would be the guys you would put on the cover?
Me, I would do. I would do in terms of goats. I've always considered either Montana, Brady, or Manning. I would probably do Peyton Manning, just because the nostalgia. He's never been on a cover, and just in 18, Tom was on one. Mahomes literally just had one, so I don't. I feel like I would do Peyton Manning and probably Herbert, because he's called Baby Goat by a lot of people, so it would make sense that he was on there. I would probably do Manning and Herbert, because it would just be amazing to see Manning on a cover. Yeah, and Herbert is literally called. That's his nickname, is Baby Goat on his team. So it would just make sense to me. But it is almost 100% Mahomes and Brady. They've been cited at a photo shoot together in gear. So like that's almost 100% confirmed. On the Sports Gamers Online site, we were actually the close to the top of the list of releasing that info. I think it was like a week and a few days ago. So I've known about that for a while, and so yeah, it's almost 100% Mahomes and Brady. It hasn't yet to be confirmed. It was just teased as a goat and a baby goat in the trailer, but yeah, it's 100% going to be them, which kind of, I don't know. As a huge fan of Madden, I don't like it because Mahomes literally just had a cover and 18 was already Brady. I think other people deserve it, like Henry, Aaron Rodgers, like those type of guys that deserve it more, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it.
From the tidbit I have, Aaron Rodgers was actually supposed to be the cover guy, and once they figured out that he may not be back in Green Bay, they had to pull the plug on that one.
Yeah.
Getting into the final part of this, it is my shout out to you. Ever since you come on to League Crawler, you've done an incredible job. Going over to Sports Gaming Online, you're doing an incredible job over there. What is your final goal? Like when you see the writing that you're doing, do you driving this ship toward?
Yes. So I am actually an amateur author. I have nothing published yet, but I do have things completed in terms of books. That's my main passion. Is I'm a very imaginative writer, and I've always liked exploring the realms of horror and all like the stuff that most people don't enjoy to speak about because it's dark, but I enjoy exploring that in a writing sense. So that's like my main goal, is to be like a fictional horror author. That's my main goal.
Got it. Brandon, when you start putting some of those books out and you start doing this, make sure that you come back on here. Make sure that you let the community know, because the support that you give out to everybody else will be reciprocated when you start doing the things that you financially want to do to kind of like take those steps. We want to make sure that we promote you and all the work that you do, because you do an incredible job, brother. You are an amazing writer, and I can't thank you enough for the work that you do over at League Crawler.
Oh, yes, of course.
Guys, that is Brennon Turner, a.k.a. Queen Bee. If you are not reading his stuff on the League Crawler site, you are not doing this right. Get over there, check it out, give my man some props. We'll see you guys next week.